I'm a huge, huge fan of Into the Spider-Verse. So naturally, I was crazy pumped for this film to come out. I was a little confused because I remember when they first started advertising it, it said Part 1 in the title. And so then when people went to see this and acting like it was, kind of making a judgment call on the film right afterwards, I was kind of confused because I hadn't seen it yet. I'm like, isn't there supposed to be a second installment of this? Isn't this like half a movie basically? Well, it turns out that it is a part one. It still remains a part one. They just, instead of calling it part one and part two, they decided to just call it two different titles and have it be a continuation. I was very happy to find that out because going in, I was like, oh man, did they cut it? Did they do something to work it into just one film instead of two? Did they cut out a bunch of stuff that now we don't get to see? No. It's exactly as it was supposed to be, and the next film, Beyond the Spider-Verse, will be a continuation of this film, and I love that. I love that so much. A lot of people probably not. Like, my son was a little disappointed. He's like, well, we gotta wait a year now? I'm gonna forget it by the time the third one comes out. But they did do a good job at telling a story arc in this film. And that story arc, for me, I think, and for most of the audience that I've talked to about it, that's Gwen's story arc. And I gotta say, I didn't give a damn about Gwen's storyline really at all. It was fine when she was just a side character in the first film, but I had no interest in learning more about Gwen or going deep into that story. But now that I've seen this, dude, I loved Into the Spider-Verse, but in every way possible, I feel like this film upped the ante. Across the Spider-Verse blew Into the Spider-Verse out of the water for me. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do, especially for me. Sequels, I think, are, they're usually either a continuation of the story, everything has to be bigger, more extreme, the stakes have to be higher, but that initial meeting of the characters in the first film, that discovery of this new world, is usually better than the second go around, for me anyway, because I'm kind of a story first based viewer. Like, I enjoy the story, I enjoy the quiet moments, the character moments, and the characters themselves, the character development throughout the story, more than I enjoy the big action sequences, the upping the ante, upping the stakes. Like, I care more about those characters, so most of the time I'm going to enjoy a first film better than a sequel. But this one did not work that way for me. I absolutely loved this film, and immediately after seeing it, declared that it was better than the first. And that takes nothing away from the first. They upped the ante in this one, but not in the way that they normally do. It's not just like, ooh, bigger, badder villains. No. The visuals, which I didn't think they could get any more, amplified and unique than what they did in the first film. The visuals from the moment the film starts blew me away. I mean, like I said, I didn't know that they could do more than they did. Of course, I should know that you can always do more visually, but they just did so much. It just looked like so much work went into the visuals in this film, went into the animation in this film, and just the thought behind it and the artistic expression that comes through the screen. It was really incredible. Really incredible. I loved that the first, 20 minutes of the film, 30 minutes almost? I don't know, maybe it wasn't that long, but was just an intro. Before they brought you the title card that says Across the Spider-Verse, you had a whole ass Gwen Stacy story. And like I said, I didn't care about Gwen before I saw this film. I didn't know I needed Gwen's story. This film was Gwen's film, and as I said, I liked it even better than the first. It was so damn good. And it also continues Miles' story in a way that, man, I didn't think you could get more heartfelt and more dramatic and more, just great storytelling, personal storytelling, character development. I didn't know you could do that anymore with this character than you did in the first film. But man, the first one was like a father-son film, kind of like that dynamic. This one went father-daughter and mother-son. You got a storyline that went hard on the Miles and his mother and that relationship. And I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was so well done. Like I said, it seems you would expect that, like, oh, okay, now they're going to pull on the heartstrings here because that's what everyone liked from the first one. But it actually worked. It wasn't like, we just got to give them some lovey-dovey stuff. No. It was deep. I actually felt something watching. I actually welled up a little bit during scenes in this film. And it's hard to do that, especially with animated films for me. But this, I can't say enough about it. I can't wait to see it again. I really can't wait for the third installment. Like, if they can, it's going to be hard to top this one, but, I thought that about the first one. I'm like, oh, this is probably the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. They came in and topped the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made by making a sequel to the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. It's really an incredible accomplishment. Props to everyone, Lord and Miller, for creating this world. I love Across the Spider-Verse. So far, maybe my favorite film of this year. I'll have to see it a couple more times to make that like a definite declaration, but as of right now, it's the most fun I've had watching a film. And I cannot wait to watch it again and to see the final installment. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. It seems pretty universally loved, but you never know. There might be some people out there who don't think much of it. Or, really, I just want to know what you think about this compared to the first film. Let me know which one you think is better and why. Let me know in the comments below, or you can always reach out on Instagram or Twitter at RealBrettScott and get with me over there if you're listening in podcast form. And if you like this sort of thing where I talk entertainment, pop culture, all sorts of things, then please subscribe to the channel or favorite or follow Daily BS Podcast. And if you do decide to stick around, then I'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks.